Hello and welcome to the Dead Air Dudes. I'm Izzy.
I'm Raka, and you are Dead of Dudes Nation. Thanks for joining us today.
Welcome back,
As
one and all.
we continue on with our true crime series, and we have a doozy for you today.
We have Richard Ramirez.
Infamous Richard Ramirez, aka
The Night Stalker. All right.
Night Stalker. So this is a story pretty much movies are made out of.
Yeah, pretty much. First of all, let's get the warning out of the way. As you know, we're going to go in depth into some of the actions and the killings and whatever else, and want to glorify anything. But if you guys are aren't into it or squeamish, just be advised.
We are not of the faint-hearted here at Dead or Dudes.
Yeah, but not at all. Not at all. So that being said, let's get to it. Richard Ramirez was born on February 29th, 1960. All right. And as we all know, he died in prison in 2013. All right. But he had a pretty, no justification, a pretty messed up, upbringing. So I guess we'll start off there.
I mean, all right. So born and raised in El Paso, Texas. So originally from El Paso. Apparently his father was extremely abusive. So much so that he incurred 2 severe head traumas. And as anyone who knows anything about traumatic brain injuries, once it fucks with you for the rest of your life. To the point that he would experience frequent epileptic seizures as a direct result. Now, does that factor into his twisted, screwed up mindset? Possibly.
Possibly. I mean, it not only it wasn't only the fact that the fact he hung out with his uncle, and his uncle was pretty much, let's be honest, a sick fuck as well, and that kind of also helped out, and that led him to becoming a serial killer, a rapist, a burglar, and at least a Satanist. All right, so yeah, I mean, so his I'm sorry, I said uncle. I meant his older cousin, actually. Older cousin
Miguel, a decorated Vietnam vet, who we can extrapolate at his time in Nam. Whatever happened to him, post-traumatic or whatever, he seemed to got a flair for torturing women.
Yes, he would. He boasted about all the rapes and tortures that he had in his tour of duty, and he took pictures. He even had a picture of a
woman's severed head.
Exactly, one of the women he severed head, which
that's a Polaroid for a Christmas tree.
So he would at this point, Ramirez was 10 years old, and he used to smoke joints with good old Miguel, or Mike as he was called.
And not to mention good old LSD, which, without going deep into the psychotic drug world, LSD takes you on a trip where you see things, hear things, feel things that aren't really there.
He also taught Richard how to kill stealthily, or how to sneak up on people. So,
So we got an impressionable 10 to 12-year-old lad who already been screwed up by daddy, now hangs out with crazy cuz who's Namvet, a killer.
He looks up to, and he thinks he's a freaking hero, For
women, I'm sure takes him under his wing, smokes a joint, does LSD, does other drugs, probably drinks a ton, and hangs out with this crowd at 13. So when you're looking to cultivate yourself, form your own being, here's what comes along. And so under Miguel's influence, he had been found not guilty of shooting
Well, yeah.
his own wife,
Well, eventually that's what ended up, doing Miguel.
which he witnessed.
But it's
By
not
the
like there was the fact that Richard used to um, sleep in the cemetery to avoid his abusive father, and he actually saw, he was there when Mike killed,
yes, he was a witness. I mean,
when he shot her in the face.
beyond impressions,
38.
you're getting this front seat view of a twisted, messed up world, especially how they treat women. And it seems okay. It seems cool. I mean, you had mentioned that he sleeps in a cemetery. Okay. To all our bad juju fans and everybody who does open themselves out to the possibility of otherworldly events, spirits, and whatnot, nothing can come good of sleeping in a cemetery.
No, no. Not to mention it's kind of uncomfortable.
Well, yeah, I mean, flat
One
ground, maybe
thing
some really good grass. Who knows?
that also another thing that really messed him up was the fact that once Mike was, I guess, arrested and all this stuff, Richard became sullen and withdrawn, and that really affected him. Which then he ended up staying with his older sister.
Oh, really?
Yes, and get this, his sister, his sister's husband, Roberto, was a peeping tom, and he used to take Richard on his jaunts. So he became a voyeur as well.
And the Parent of the Year award or guardian does not go to anybody in the Ramirez household in California.
Well, again, this is no. We're not trying to paint a picture of trying to defend this a-hole, but oof, I mean,
There's
what a
no one there to steer him to what's right and
what
what's.
right? I mean, you know.
I
So
mean, one would think you'd know that, but as we've come to know, and we've come to be unfortunately familiar with in our trek down true crime lane, is that these people have no clue
no,
to
it,
what is right, what is wrong. It's
it
a free for all.
it is a continuous trend. It's amazing how so far everything we researched in depth has been all eerily there's distinct points that are very similar. I mean, different things here. Okay, he's a Satanist. He's not. I mean, he's a doctor. He's not. He's a freaking, whatever. But I mean, there's a lot of things, a lot of points, that just. All right.
I mean, this is a poor analogy, but I mean, you drive a 10-speed or a dirt bike. You drive a bike. You kill this way. You kill that way. You're a killer. So
So
then he's developed as he got into his teen years and to his young adulthood years. Of course, the sexual obsessions he had to the point that he was arrested for attempted rape.
yes, but I mean, this is the one where again, good old justice system. Oh, this is where you yeah. All right. So yeah, like you said,
Apparently, the woman declined to testify against him.
yeah, but he worked at a Holiday Inn. Okay.
Not to disparage the
So and he had a pass key, so he would use his pass key to steal, And then one day,
voyeur.
there you go. And then one day he went into a room and tried to rape, a lady, and the husband, or came in and beat the crap out of him, and he was arrested, like he said. And then since they were from out of town, they never showed up to testify. Yeah.
So, lesson learned to you guys out there: please see it through to the end. Okay,
I mean,
you you have the opportunity to stop somebody from uh, growing in their warped career.
yeah. So then freaking the charges were dropped, and thus, a legend in the worst possible way was born. I mean, then countless other people had to freaking suffer the, worse fates. I mean, it's,
So,
it, it's crazy. Then he dropped out of high school, obviously, and he at 22 he moved to Cali, and that's where he really, he really dug his feet in and kind of, and we're
so
not going to go into detail in every single, because
no, but are we now at the point of June 28th, 1984, where his victim, a 79-year-old, I'll leave it at that. So obviously an elderly woman, um, who was found brutally raped, throat slashed so deeply that she was almost decapitated.
mhm.
Her apartment showed signs of forced entry, and the items were found to be missing. I don't know how, but we're privy to some crime scene photos, which it may be public record. I'm not sure the legality, but I'm looking at some crime. It's pretty gruesome, man. Dexter would have a field day. He's got a splattering of blood across the wall that arches from the curtain to the corner, across the second wall, all over the bed onto a nightstand. I mean, there's pretty much a blood rainbow, if there is such a thing.
Yeah.
So one thing to go burglarize, attack, kill. Now you add rape into it in a satanic form, then probably torture on
Yeah.
top of that.
Would he? And the crazy thing is, he didn't kill everyone.
Right.
Some he would rape, beat the crap out of, and burglarize. And then if there was a guy, then yeah, the guy would unfortunately would be killed. And then she, depending on how he felt, whatever he would, you know. There was one when he beat a 16-year-old with a tire iron who survived.
I mean,
Then
there was another one where he he assaulted a woman in her home. The woman managed to escape. So, I mean, there might be some eyewitness accounts, some description.
no, they
The
were actually
roommate was not so lucky,
yeah,
and the roommate was murdered.
yes,
So he took on two.
yeah.
I mean, he's got some cojones. He's got a set on him and some stones. You know, I'm gonna take two out today.
Oh no, there's actually a couple days where he actually did a twofer. He went to one place, got the family, and then he went somewhere else. And did the same. And they're all definitely different ages and different.
Right. I mean, that one night I pointed out, March 17, 1985, where he attacked the two uh, people in the home. Later that night, he went and killed another lady, another victim, shot her. And 10 days later, he decided to attack another person, and this one a male, 64 years old, and his wife.
Mm-hmm.
And he began by shooting the male, then assaulted the female, and had his way, tortured, killed, and before he killed her with a knife. And then he proceeded to gouge her eyes out.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was just looking at that one. Yeah, the thing was, she went to grab the shotgun, and the shotgun was empty. So that kind of pissed him off, and he shot her 3 times and stabbed her several after, and then he gouged her eyes out, put him in a jewelry box, and they took the box home. But here is where he made one of his first mistakes, or one of many mistakes. He left his sneakers there. You know.
You got to say, as we further dive into this case file, this is unlike the previous case file that we reviewed of the other serial killer, the huge behemoth man.
The Cold Killer, Edmund Kemper.
Right, where he was extremely intelligent, possessed a high IQ, very calculating, covered all his tracks.
It's all very,
This individual possesses the capability to plot, plan, attack, defend, know how to get in, know how to get out. But there was a brashness and a sloppiness to it of almost like, I don't really care. I'm going to do this.
I mean, I have several quotes from him which will lead into his whole mindset. Now, another huge mistake he made, which obviously you have it in front of you, was the 13-year-old kid, James Romero III. Okay, he went to James Romero Jr.'s house and he's gonna burglarize the house. Now, the 13-year-old son woke up. The burglar woke up, and then that freaked out Ramirez. Ramirez ran. Now the kid ran out
after him.
Well, just got the color and make of the car, and a partial license plate. Okay. Mistake number 2, which leads us to the granddaddy of them all. His third mistake that probably made him the most famous, actually brought him to fame, I guess, or infamy for that matter. And when it was August 24th, I do believe that's the date. He went to, and it was boyfriend and girlfriend, and killed the boyfriend. Obviously, shot him 3 times. Then he beat her and tied her up. He robbed them, and then told her to swear to Satan. Okay, and then tell them the Night Stalker was here. Okay, she survives. Actually, they both actually. He survived. Actually, I apologize. He did not die. He got shot 3 times and he survived. She gave a detailed description, and there were prints everywhere, coupled with the sneakers found previously and the description from the kid. They already kind of figured out who this guy must be. You know what I mean? So then it goes to August 30th, where this is it's like a freaking movie, I swear. He's gonna go visit his brother. Right? He sees a picture of himself in the paper. He didn't know. I guess he knew it was, he was the Night Stalker, but I guess, I don't know, whatever he thought. I don't know what the hell he thought. When people started looking at him, recognizing him, he fled. He ran away. As he's running away, people caught up to him. And, you can take it from here, Rocco.
Yeah, I mean, he's in some convenience store. The stacks of newspaper with a sketch on it. A group of old ladies, are pointing out to cops, like, within the vicinity. He should have even seen the cops. Like, that's the guy. He's in the store. And he comes out and he starts seeing the cops. They're approaching, coming after him. And he starts running, so he's on the run. But as I guess what we have to kind of backtrack a little bit and set the stage that this is the mid 80s.
Yeah.
Los Angeles, California. So this is Hollywood glitz and glam. By far the ultra media word of mouth, what's happening, what's hot buzz happens here. Now, LA is pretty big, 2.5, 3 million people. It's fraction the size of half the size of New York, but still a metropolitan with like none other because of the stardom. But because of that, the buzz runs high about this Night Stalker to
Right.
the point that everyone and your mother
Yes.
knows him,
That
knows
reminds.
of him.
Yes, that reminds me. On a previous. Sorry, guys. Backtrack a little bit. Hold that thought, Rocco. On a previous one, you know, situation before, he went to August 18th, I do believe, and again another married couple, shot the husband in the temple, raped and beat, and left her for dead. He used her lipstick to draw a pentagram and the letters Jack the Knife on the wall. Now, this is important because at that time, Mayor Diane Feinstein? Jeez, I can't see my handwriting. I apologize.
Sounds about right.
Basically, freaking, that divulged information, which infuriated the cops and the investigation, and which in turn led to him discarding stuff, his sneakers that he had, threw them off the Golden Gate Bridge. So, yeah, back to what you were saying, media, everybody knew who the Night Stalker was, and boom.
Because he's so sloppy, they were to get partial prints from his car. So they have the prints. They matched the prints to prints from the crime scenes.
Mm-hmm.
They had his sneakers. They had eyewitness descriptions, eyewitness survivors of his attacks. Other than videotape of him doing it, they got everything.
Now, let me ask you.
Idiot. He just walks. I mean, this is kind of like a scene like a Pulp Fiction or something. He just walks right into. Let me walk right into that. That's a pile of shit right there. Let me just walk right into that. Now, the vigilante group, so coming back to that day, the vigilante group or mobster group, whatever happened there, they recognize it. Almost everybody in the streets recognize, probably, I can assume people screaming their lungs out, that's him. That's the Night Stalker. That's him. The mob is coming after him because he has held hostage the greater Los Angeles, Southern California area for the 14 months of his killing spree and his attack spree, that they're beating him to a pulp, that when the police arrive, he actually is grateful and thanks them for coming to his aid. Otherwise, he would have been beaten to death by this group of people. Damn the cops, they should have came 5 minutes late.
Yeah.
Take a left, get some coffee, and come back.
Look, I'm pretty sure that they kind of saw it happening, kind of,
I know, guys. There's due process. There's due process.
No, of course. But
but sometimes there's village justice that supersedes everything.
Let me ask the musical question here. What do you think? Do you think that he wanted to get caught, or he truly did not care, or
I think if he was truly
crazy, and I'm not giving him an out on that.
No. I'm speculating, right? I'm gonna play in his stupid red drenched sneakers little game here. I'm assuming that if I'm so entrenched in the satanic ways, this earthly body, form, whatever, don't mean a thing. I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm doing it for Satan. I'm embracing my total disregard for people and things and humanity and morality, and I'm going full force, full frontal into the world of carnage and pleasure and sacrifice and ritual and everything, that I don't give a damn. I don't want to get caught because I want to keep doing this is the only reason. Right. But he's not so meticulous as this is my obsession and I'm going to be so good at it, I'll never get caught. I think he has a mix of totally warped mind and callous disregard, a little bit of a superiority complex, because if you want to fast forward to his court hearing, he says something quite...
well, he says lots, and by what you're saying, the reports are that he had schizoid personality disorder, and according to, I guess, his psychiatrist, that this made him and contributed to his indifference to the suffering of his victims and his untreatability. So he was untreatable because of his schizoid personality disorder. Okay.
Well, I'll read this tidbit. Upon hearing his sentence of all 13 charges guilty and sentenced to death, the Night Stalker smiled and said, "Hey, big deal. Death always comes with the territory. I'll see you in Disneyland."
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So, from that statement, I don't think it's a far leap for me to say, homeboy didn't give a fuck.
His last words: Lucifer dwells within us all. You don't understand, and you are not expected to. You are not capable of it. I am beyond your experience. I am beyond doing evil. Legions of the night, Nightbreed, repeat, not errors of the Night Stalker, and show no mercy. I will be avenged.
Yeah, I think he was so deep into his belief system. He didn't care, incarcerated, not incarcerated. The sad editorial we have to end with here is that his trial was the most expensive up to this point.
1.8 million, I think it was.
It exhausted tons and tons of municipal money and government funds. It got huge media attention, obviously. And then he hit them with so many appeals that he was able to stay his execution, eventually succumbing to B-cell lymphoma instead of the death penalty, which he was sentenced to.
He had so many fans. He actually got married.
Let's get to that if you could for a second. There's a twisted woman out there that actually said he's so kind and gentle. I became a fan. I met. Now, I'm gonna say it. This ugly mofo, this sick, twisted, satanic worshiping fuck, was out there committing heinous crime after heinous crime. Got the fanfare, got the media attention, got the pictures everywhere. He probably knew, he had to have known that the entire world, if not all of California, was entrenched into and captivated into his trial and everything, his backstory, you name it. You ended up getting a girl.
Yeah.
You ended up hooking up and getting married.
And it wasn't only one. I mean, he had like many fans. He had. It wasn't. It's incredible.
Now that's a totally different. That's a totally different psychiatry and psychological profile. We are not fans. It is interesting, these stories, because it is of the heinous dark side of humanity and how they evaded and how they performed and how they performed their acts and how they killed and they stalked and blah 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 blah. But the fandom, I mean, from Manson to him to Big Ed to Ed Gein to Ted Bundy, you name it. There's some fanfare obsession here. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, just how can you be a fan, or how can you think this guy is a great, is a gentle human being? Quote: I love to kill people. I love watching them die. I would shoot them in the head and they would wiggle and squirm all over the place and then just stop. Or I would cut them with a knife and watch their faces turn real white. I love all that blood. I told one lady to give me her money. She said no. So I cut her and pulled her eyes out. I mean, yeah, that's a gentle human being. You know? But
I mean, 50,000 pages of trial records. Yeah. Sentenced to death by asphyxiation in the gas chamber as he was incarcerated in San Quentin. And all for naught as he ends up dying from lymphoma. Man, he's kind, funny, and charming. That is nuts. Doreen, what the hell is your problem? Ugh.
Yeah, and the saddest thing is like there was no justice in the sense that he died, yes, but
Exactly. The irony of everything is that he ends up succumbing to cancer and circumventing the closest thing to justice which can possibly afford him, which is the death sentence. California, woo woo, another one. Why only California? Why?
no, we've got other states, but California, oof,
Well, I mean, okay,
that's some
I'm not a resident. I'm not a resident of Texas or anything like that, but boy, this happens in the backyard of Austin or El Paso. There's a firing squad in 2 seconds. They're gonna round up Bill, Ted, and Eddie from the bank and just load them up, go behind the dumpster, and take care of the boy. Well, anyway, the Night Stalker from the mid '80s, terrorizing for more than a year, millions and millions of people, finally caught because of some craziness, which is his life, as he's already ended 13 plus people. And I guess what's the big draw is it's the big media attention. One of the first ones to just get kind of a circus atmosphere.
Yeah, I mean, he embodied. He was. I'm not gonna see. I hate to say, he was a superstar, but
Sensational.
yes, he was a media darling in that sense, and people ate it up, and that's it. And there's not much more to say about it.
The Night Stalker, we put you to bed, and hope that you were entertained by today's broadcast. And we dug up a lot of interesting facts and relived an 80s terror in our true crime series. Sleep well tonight. Be vigilant. Remember to save the whales.
As
I'm
all, I'm Izzy. If you guys continue to like this content, we will continue to bring it to you. And please don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave the comments. As always, take care, stay safe, stay